Hi, I'm James McGuire, and on today's eSpeaks, we're looking at current trends in cloud transformation, how companies are handling their adoption of the cloud, including the skills gap, which has been a definite challenge for the cloud world. To discuss that, I'm joined by Varun Bijlani, Global Managing Partner, leader of Hybrid Cloud Transformation Team for IBM Consulting. Varun, very good to have you with us today.
Hi, James. Thank you very, very much for having me. Looking forward to this conversation.
And you are coming to us all the way from the United Kingdom today, right?
That's correct. That's correct. From the lovely, cold and rainy UK, uh, where we have a new, very young prime minister.
That's right. I thought that news item, I found that to be really, really interesting. I hope that works out. Yeah.
We've all got our fingers crossed there.
So let's talk about cloud transformation. Obviously, I know you're very involved with the cloud transformation journey. You know, for some companies, it's been going on for 5 to 10 years. Other companies aren't quite as far along. What do you think the big challenges are there? And how does something called the Transformation Index help us understand that? I know IBM has a Transformation Index.
That's correct. That's correct. So, you know, my team and we're helping many clients across various industries in their cloud transformations. I'm currently personally supporting clients in pharma distribution, freight logistics, banking, and airlines.
Mm-hmm.
Very few of our clients are in the advanced stages of cloud transformation.
Mm-hmm.
The IBM Cloud Transformation Index, which surveyed over 3,000 business and IT leaders, highlighted that less than a third, 27%, are in the more mature, advanced stages of cloud transformation. The other two-thirds are in phases like defining their desired outcomes, aligning their stakeholders, early adoption, getting technology effectiveness, and they are yet to prove the benefits of cloud adoption. Mm-hmm. So, as you would agree, ever since the pandemic, enterprises are facing more complex and multiple challenges. Changes in employee and customer expectations, inflation, supply chain disruption, cybersecurity, etc. And there's no question that companies are looking to cloud as a technology to help accelerate efforts to drive increased revenue, improve efficiency, and reduce costs. The Cloud Transformation Index highlighted that 71% of those surveyed said that without a hybrid cloud strategy, it would be very difficult to realize the potential of digital transformation. Mm-hmm. So you asked me about the challenges on this journey. I think the first most important thing I would say is the clarity of the why. Why are you on a cloud transformation journey? Mm-hmm. The objectives that you're trying to address. Do you have specific objectives? Often I see there is a very limited clarity of the why. And there's a lot of information about the what. I'm all in on the hyperscaler. I need to migrate my workloads in the next 24 months. Why are you clear on this strategy? How does it address your most pressing business objectives? So when you start with that, I think the challenges that they are facing are threefold: architecture complexity, lack of talent, and security and compliance. So this is also substantiated by the Cloud Transformation Index. I can define the three of them for you. Would you like me to go down?
Sure. Let's take a look. Before, just one quick question before we get to the definition. I think there's one number you said that is really fascinating, and it agrees with everything I hear about the industry, that only about a third of the companies are really in that advanced phase. And the thing I'm surprised about that is I've been covering the cloud for a long time, and I would have thought way back in 2012, like, gosh, the cloud is here, and all the companies are getting on board. And by the year 2020 or so, the data center is going to be gone. Everyone's going to be on cloud. But here we are in 2022. Only a third or so of the companies are really advanced, and some of them are still, closer to the beginning. Why has the process gone so slow? And I think you've mentioned the challenges. I guess that's a big part of it. But is there one in particular that you would point to, like this is why it has gone as slowly as it has? Given all the advantages of cloud, you think it would go quickly?
So I think, lack of understanding of the complexity that this involves, and a lot of focus on, I need to get on the cloud, let's migrate to the cloud. And soon, you can migrate the easy stuff to the cloud and you start asking yourself, but has it made it cheaper, faster, or better? And that's not always the case. And you start hitting the more complex application workloads, which migration by itself doesn't solve the problem. So it's those kind of challenges that companies did a lot of experimentation, but when it came to scale, these three challenges, I think, this idea of architectural complexity, lack of talent, and security and compliance started holding them back on this journey. You talk about complexity. What I mean by that is the urgent need for getting onto the cloud got everybody to assemble all their cloud estates in a kind of ad hoc manner. There's public cloud here, there's private in one corner, there's on-prem, but they may or may not be working in useful ways. And not having the right guardrails, started putting pressures on the right kind of reducing cost or giving real business benefit. 70% of executives see the data integration across the cloud estate as a problem.
Pretty high percentage.
Correct. And then you start talking about, so this complexity also increased the complexity of the change, impacting the talent landscape. When you've got so many operating silos, that raises the talent challenge quite significantly. Most companies simply do not have enough of the talent. The cloud architects, the microservices developers, the data engineers, the appropriate skills to meet that demand. So I see that skills challenge probably as the single biggest one. The Cloud Transformation Index actually called it out by 69% of business leaders said that they are lacking teams with the right cloud skills, which was their major barrier to better, more secure cloud implementation. And 64% said that their IT teams are lacking the necessary skills for them to be proficient at architecting and managing cloud applications. So when you see these aspects, you can start relating to your query on why is it taking so long in this cloud journey.
Well, it's interesting that I think the skills gap, which of course I hear that across the industry, and I mean, I guess I would say to all parents out there, have your kids study cloud and cloud skills and those sort of tech skills in college. Those individuals, or not even go to college to study those skills, they will always be employed because there's an enormous amount of job openings there. But given that skills gap is a big part of the problem, I mean, what are you advising clients to do to overcome this?
So I think many large organizations that are on the path to this digital transformation and cloud adoption find themselves saying things like, based on how we are operating, we need 100 engineers with these specific skills and experiences. We've got 25. So we have a skill gap, and now we need to address that. So you start looking at transformation and these adoptions, the response is often to troubleshoot the problem by hiring more engineers. So you can troubleshoot one issue at a time. And hiring, partnering, reskilling, upskilling are all valid, and they have a place in this remediation on the skills challenge. However, I would add two not so obvious areas. I would highlight that to my clients. Number one is to look at multi-dimensional skills. When you look at the right kind of individual, looking at a combination of that techno-functional skills with agile skills, with garage and domain skills.
But is that not even harder to find those individuals with those multi-dimensional skills?
It is, but there are strategies to address that. How do you create individuals of that nature, or how do you bring together squads that bring these skills together? And if you don't start looking at this and saying, how do these skills come together in my squad, you start actually having a tougher challenge. And the second one I would say is, very often we misread operating model problems as talent problems. By operating model, we're concerned by the way, what do we mean by operating model? The way a business unit fulfills a request from a customer,
Mhm.
or the way the IT organization fulfills business unit requests for IT services. So it's very important that you start to design the operating model so that we're making the very best use of the people we have now. And we want to stop letting a sloppy operating model design do what Edward Deming warned us about. He said bad systems beat good people every day.
Right.
That
Right.
becomes quite crucial. And even one of our uh, IBM Business Institute of Business Value surveys highlighted that 84% of executives acknowledged that their enterprises struggle in eliminating these silo to silo handoffs.
Hmm.
So I think it's important to reframe the talent problem as an operating model design opportunity. That's probably
Hmm.
the single biggest thing I would say.
All right, so certainly a positive way to look at it. Well, let's drill down to specifically IBM Consulting. How is IBM Consulting addressing either the skills gap or that cloud transformation problem for clients? What is the IBM advantage in this regard?
Okay. So, there are a number of ways we help our clients. The obvious is to partner with them to bring our skills and talent to complement theirs.
Mhm.
Also, to help them with their cloud transformation with our skin in the game, i.e., tied to them achieving their business outcomes. But more importantly, we help our clients with building their own capability. So we've got a very, defined, tailored talent and proficiency model that we have used. It's tried and tested internally, and we help our clients with that. There's a major global bank. We have been working with them to upskill their team and actually over time contractually reducing our presence and increasing their independent ability to execute.
Does that mean you're literally training their staff?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And in there, how do you go about doing that is also with, there's a differentiated, what we call our co-experiment, co-create, and co-innovation garages, where we bring together their teams and our teams and actually live the day in the life together.
Hmm.
And those garages bring to life not only to deliver those projects, but also shape the new ways of working. So in there, I keep saying it's ways of working first, organization structure second. That's how you work through the complexity of this change. And
Mhm.
finally, we help our clients then instantiate and operate those cloud centers of excellence that bring this operating model to life, which is why I said, this is an opportunity for operating model design. That's the way you need to look at the whole talent challenge.
Mhm. Holistically.
Yeah.
All right, let's look to the future. I mean, I'm wondering what is your sense of the future of cloud transformation? I've definitely heard you say that planning has been one of the key issues with cloud. People have moved to the cloud ad hoc and they're not sure why and what they're doing. So I guess I'm assuming that planning is going to be an essential part of the future of cloud transformation. But what's your take in the years ahead? What will cloud transformation look like several years down the road?
Yeah. So I think if I may, I would rephrase the word planning by saying the clarity of the why, the business purpose. So
Uh-huh.
close alignment of business objective with that cloud transformation program.
Right.
In terms of the future, I think we've seen a lot of migration. We're now going to see a focus on shifting from easy migration to the core applications, the core enterprise workloads, because those are the ones that need to be modernized and actually taken to the cloud. So that's going to be one big shift.
You mean to make them truly cloud native? Is that what you mean?
So an element is, so I would say cloud native is going to be a big portion of it, but hybrid multi-cloud is going to become real. Everybody is almost happenstance come into hybrid multi-cloud. They've had multiple clouds, they've had their on-prem.
Mhm.
Now, in the future, they will make that hybrid cloud environment work for them. So the applications will straddle these multiple environments, but the architecture will be far more efficient going forward. The other future I see is, talking about data. We've all talked about leveraging data, but how do you leverage data across that open ecosystem? I think that's going to become very big. Industry-specific solutions are going to start becoming more commonplace, as in it's not just about getting onto the generic cloud, but the cloud providers are going to partner with companies like ourselves or like end user enterprises and create industry-specific solutions to create that differential advantage. I think the open enterprise is going to become very, very important. So cloud, not just going from your company boundary to the hyperscaler or to the cloud service provider, but it's the edge and IoT are going to become very integral part, this open continuous enterprise. And then finally, I would say this thing about, you talked about cloud native to the extent that it starts becoming almost that low code, no code, the business function as a service. So you'll start seeing business units trying to create functions and services so that they can start matching groups of services to create new business processes, new products faster.
It's one thing I hope you can educate me on. Let's talk about hybrid cloud and multi-cloud. And I think about hybrid cloud as there's a data center and there's a remote cloud platform. They're suddenly joined together. There's some mirroring going on between what's in-house and what's in the cloud. That's a hybrid cloud setup, as I understand it. Then, of course, there's multi-cloud, which seems to be a default scenario these days. Companies are using 2 or 3 clouds for every company, if not more. But are you using those terms interchangeably, hybrid cloud and multi-cloud, or what is the difference in your mind in terms of understanding the architecture?
Yeah, I don't think that they're interchangeable. Actually, multi-cloud, like you said, companies are already using multiple clouds, so they're already on multi-cloud. Either within the same business unit or across business units, they've got multiple clouds. I mean, there are surveys that say by the end of next year, most companies will have more than 10 clouds.
Right.
The idea of hybrid cloud becomes that you've not only got many public clouds, you've also got a combination of that with either a private or an on-premise state.
Right.
And actually making them work in a consistent fashion in terms of your architecture and your operations. That's truly what we call hybrid cloud.
Okay.
And that's why the real value comes from when you can master that end-to-end landscape.
Interesting. Varun, I think you said it. A lot of good stuff. Thank you so much for sharing your insight today, and come back and talk with us again sometime.
Oh, I'd love to do that, James. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Cheers.